Welcome back to Adult Piano Beginners. This lesson we're going to go through something a bit different and not from the Hey Presto Piano Method book. We're going to look at für Elise, which is one of Beethoven's most famous pieces. I'm using an Urtext edition. Urtext meaning original, or as close to the original that can be. This particular edition is by Henley. There is an interesting preface at the beginning which will give you some more insight, and so I suggest you read that. Beethoven began the composition in 1808 and finished it in 1810 with possibly further amendments after that. I'll leave it for you to find out more about it if you want to determine its date, although it wasn't published in his lifetime. This tutorial isn't about showing you all of the notes. I will be going through the notes on the page. There will be overhead views so that you can get a proper idea to make sure you're not going wrong. But this isn't something where you can just look at my fingers playing and just copy that. If you want that kind of tutorial, there are plenty of other ones on YouTube that won't be going into the detail that I'll be going through, which will be the musicality, the interpretation, as well as notes and dynamics and all those other things. But if you want something fairly simple, then this probably isn't it, as this is going to be very detailed, encompassing all those other things. One of the most important things to spot right away is the time signature. Initially looking at the piece, one could think, why didn't he write 6/8? As you can see, these triplets, these 16th notes are grouped into triplets. 16th notes or semiquavers grouped into threes. But this would suggest then two beats in a bar, 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a, which is exactly what he doesn't want. This is explained or demonstrated by the time signature. Otherwise, we would probably be playing two beats in a bar. So specifically 3/8, which isn't as common a signature as 6/8. So I've seen a lot of things being discussed online about the time signature. Perhaps he meant 4/8 in places with a combination of 3/8. But for me, it's pretty simple really. It's 3/8 with a little bit of syncopation, and that's a standard thing that you would see in music, especially in Beethoven, the syncopation. Now, this is just an upbeat here, but we don't want to accent the first beat of the bar. This is when the pianist has to not really think like a pianist and simply just accent this beat all the way through. Perhaps think like a string player. How might they approach the music? Or a wind player. Perhaps a crescendo going through, so not accenting here. Although bagatelles were mostly written for the piano, the music itself needs to feel vocal or of an instrumental quality. We need to think beyond our own instrument. Beethoven was a master composer, composing for all orchestral instruments, and this piece was written at about the beginning of his late period. Using finger control or rotation, with rotation perhaps to get at the PP sound here from the very first notes, so we almost fade into this. Really, there are so many possibilities, so it'd be worth listening to some good performances online. But I like the idea of fading in here. So that's what we'll try and aim for in our interpretation in the end. Don't accent here and here with the thumb. Thumb specifically here and here is going to be easy, very easy to accent accidentally with the thumb, and that would then lead it to sounding like 2 in a bar. At bar 7, there are recordings where people play the E in the right hand, I'm not particularly concerned if I hear that in a performance. It sounds pretty good, leaving the D for another time or for the repeat. But it is D written here. I'm learning this at the same time as you, and no doubt our opinions and ideas will change over time. That's perfectly natural when learning new music. That's it for this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you next time.